Alright, what's going on everybody? My name is Sam and I'm back with another video. It's been a while and actually as you can see, I've upgraded. I got all kinds of stuff going on here. I'm hoping to really give this a shot and really start uploading a lot more. Maybe several times a day actually. So, I worked on this all late last night doing all this kind of crazy uh, editing and all this stuff that like you have to do to set up these like webcams and how to set up the backgrounds and transition scenes and all this kind of stuff. So besides the point, here I want to give an update about what I think about what's going on with Bernie Sanders' campaign. And well, obviously it's Friday today when I'm uploading this video. Tomorrow is the South Carolina primary. Maybe not as important as previous primaries because Super Tuesday is literally 72 hours later. So the bump that you can get from winning South Carolina isn't as huge as you could get from winning Iowa, New Hampshire, Nevada. But it is still relevant. Obviously, it's a fairly large state. It's a very diverse state. A lot of African American people there. And I want to talk about the placements that I'm going to have, and I'm going to start at 6 because I really don't think anything else is really relevant. And then we'll get into why I think that, and then we'll also, in a minute, we'll go over what I think is going to end up happening on Super Tuesday with Bernie Sanders' campaign, and I think it's going to be just a little preview of that. I think it's going to be an overwhelming victory. So, 6th place, who do I have in the South Carolina primary? It's got to be Amy Klobuchar, the good old Amy Klobuchar. I mean, she's just such a Millie Mouse centrist. She has no support. She has no energy. She is literally Hillary Clinton 2.0, but maybe worse, just because of how boring she is. I think that once Bernie kills her in Minnesota, she'll drop out, her home state. But yeah, she's done. I mean, the media love to give her a boost after her strong 3rd place finish in New Hampshire, but nah, she's done, man. 5th place, I have freaking. This is a tough one for me, to be honest, but I'm gonna put Pete Buttigieg in 5th, just because he's the worst, and I don't think he has no black support, man. I mean, he literally polls less than 1% with black people. So yeah, he has no path to the nomination. Yeah, especially in South Carolina, dude. He's gonna be down there. I mean, these bottom ones are maybe interchangeable, but he's definitely gonna be real low on the spectrum down there. 4th place, I'm gonna put Elizabeth Warren, which is maybe a surprise, but she's underperformed, man. I used to love Elizabeth Warren, actually. I mean, I was part of that progressive wing that wanted her to run instead of Bernie in 2015. And then when she refused to do it because she wanted to fall in line with the Clintons, that's kind of the first sign that maybe she's in it for herself. And now what she's doing with Bernie with the super delegates, which I might put a video out here soon about that. Yeah, she has no support either. Bernie's going to clap her too in her home state of Massachusetts, and then hopefully she'll drop out. But honestly, the more people in the races, the better for Bernie because it just divides people up more, and that's good for Bernie because we have the largest grassroots support. So, 3rd place. This may come as a surprise, and maybe you guys haven't heard his name in a long time, but I'm going to put Tom Steyer, the good old billionaire who's he makes Bloomberg look like a villain. Even though they're both billionaires. I mean, Tom Steyer compared to Bloomberg is Tom Steyer's a mile ahead of him. But anyway, regardless, Tom Steyer still sucks. He's going to be in 3rd just because he's dumped a lot of resources into South Carolina. And I think that Biden hates him as a result of that because he's pulling a lot of Biden support. I think Biden would absolutely run away with South Carolina if it wasn't for Steyer doing well. So that's kind of funny. But now, the top 2, what am I going to do here, man? This is a tough decision. We all know that I'm biased towards Bernie Sanders. But in my honest opinion, I don't think that placing top 2, I don't think it's going to change 1st or 2nd who's going to win the nomination, to be honest with you. I think Bernie and Biden are going to be the only ones to be reach that 15% threshold to be eligible to receive delegates, to be honest with you. Steyer might creep in there. But I'm going to have to go with the polling data, and I'm going to have to put Bernie at 2nd place. Now, I'm going to add a caveat there that it's within the margin of error, man. I mean, if Bernie wins South Carolina, it's over. Dead heap over. It's over. It's done with. We win the nomination. If Bernie comes in close second, it's still over, guys. It's still, I mean, an overwhelming victory. Dude, Biden, obviously Biden's number one. I have him at number one. But Biden was 50 points ahead in polling like a few months ago. So the fact that it's even questionable is that's a major loss for Biden. If we win over 20% of the state, that's a huge win for Bernie, and that's going to catapult us into Super Tuesday, where Biden has no groundwork. Man, he has no groundwork. This week he raised like 1.2 million, which was his largest week in his campaign history. And Bernie does that in an hour. So, I mean, he has no groundwork. He has no volunteers. He has no base. I mean, Bernie has the strong base in all these Super Tuesday states. But real quick, I want to look at Bernie's strengths in all the Super Tuesday states. And also, I want to talk real quick. Let's recap. So, 6th place, Klobuchar. 5th place, Buttigieg. 4th place, Warren. 3rd place, I have Steyer. 2nd place, I have Bernie, with a caveat that I mean, he could elevate the first, but I don't see it happening. And then 1st place, I have Joe Biden, which is a sad sight to see. But let's go ahead and let's check out the polling data here. I want to look at a lot of this stuff is really interesting. It really is. I'm on this Political Polls website. A lot of their stuff is really accurate. You can see this poll right here. North Carolina actually has Biden in front, which is whatever. Who cares? That'll change every Super Tuesday. Here we have Texas, man. This is huge. Bernie's ahead in Texas and California. Actually, both of the polls are right here. Dude, he's ahead by 6% in Texas. So when you talk about unity candidate, I mean, Texas is as red as it gets. Bernie Sanders is winning in Texas, and that should scare Donald Trump, and that should scare these so-called moderates. Here we have California, and Bernie is running away with it in California, man. And then Warren's a distant second. I mean, he is completely dominating these two states. And that's huge because these are obviously the largest two states. Here's another Texas poll. He's up 9% in that poll. Here's a national poll post-debate. Bernie's ahead nationally, solidifying his role as the front runner. I'm kind of just scrolling down and looking at all these. Actually, he's in first in the first Fox News poll this time around, this cycle. He's finally in first in the Fox News poll, which is kind of cool. Utah, I mean, he's running away with it in Utah. Massachusetts, Elizabeth Warren's home state. He's only 2 points up in this poll, but I've seen polls where he's like 10 points up in Massachusetts. North Carolina, again, here's another North Carolina poll where Bernie's actually up. Here's a Virginia poll. Bernie's in a close second behind Biden. Another Massachusetts poll, he's way up. Another California poll, way up. I mean, nationally, there he is, way up again. So here's another national poll. He's only down by 2% there to Biden. See, all these polls are very recent, even post debate. This is kind of crazy. I don't know what this poll. I mean, I'd like to click on that link and see, but it has Biden at 42% Steyer. I don't think that's true, dude. I think that probably oversampled a lot of older voters. When you look at the polls, when Bernie's doing good, you have to give him even more credit because in the polling, they obviously polling undersamples young voters because young voters typically don't vote, but they vote overwhelmingly for Bernie. So when you're polling, you have to freaking give Bernie a bump, like a pretty substantial bump, 5 to 10 point bump, because of the young people that come out and vote for him. I mean, this is a much closer representation of what I think is going to happen in South Carolina right here. You can see Steyer's not even eligible. Buttigieg, who I think is going to be below Warren. But I mean, who really cares? Because he's not gonna make it anyway. But if this happens right here, this would be a landmark victory for Bernie because of Joe Biden being up by 50 points, just a couple months ago. This right here, if this happens, that's almost a landslide victory for Bernie, which is weird because Biden wins. But I mean, if it's a close second. And that's not even really a close second. That's 9 points down. But that still is just, I mean, that's crazy. Utah winning. There's another South Carolina poll where only Bernie and Biden are eligible there. I mean, guys, we see the polling data. Wisconsin, Bernie's the only one to beat Trump. I mean, we see the polling data kicking ass in Wisconsin. He's kicking ass in all the Rust Belt states, dude, and that's where you have to win. Um, Pennsylvania, Bernie's the only one to beat Trump. Colorado, first place. That's a Super Tuesday state. So you guys get the point, man. I mean, it's just, guys, let's talk about how Bernie is gonna run away with this thing, dude. On Super Tuesday, Bernie is gonna freaking clobber the competition. Now they're gonna try to host a broker convention. They're gonna try to sweep it away from him. We're not gonna let them. We're gonna stand tall. I mean, if they try to steal the nomination away from him and he has the most votes, it's gonna be hell. There's gonna be hell to pay, man. We're gonna march the streets. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you guys think of the update. I mean, he is running away with the Democratic nomination, and this is the hard part. I've said it all along, man. This is the hard part. Winning the primary is the hard part for Bernie, man. And then the general, I think he kills Trump because he takes away the Rust Belt from Trump, and that's how Trump beat Hillary. So thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing because I really am going to be upping the content. I'm going to be live streaming, I think maybe tomorrow night. So come join the live stream, man. Check out what you think, whether you agree with me or not. We're going to have, we're going to be sitting here chilling. We're going to be listening to music. We're going to be watching the results roll in from South Carolina. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you, guys.